What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from MTG headquarters. I'm with Peter and Mohrbacher, Magic the Gathering artist, and we're going to talk a little bit about drawing Magic cards and being a professional artist in general. So thanks for taking the time to speak with me here on the 4th of July, America.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So one of the most often asked questions I get when I poll subscribers, is they'd really like to hear how you got involved with Wizards. How did you start drawing Magic cards?
I met Jeremy Jarvis at Gen Con, I think about 4 years back. People kept telling me my work looked like Magic cards every time I'd show it around. So I finally just went to him and said, what do you think? People tell me this looks like Magic cards. He's like, yep, I agree. And that was it. I mean, everyone asks, is it hard to get work on Magic? But the truth is that if they can just plug you in, if you just already match the style and you make that kind of work, it's actually really easy. You just need to let them know you exist.
And so you've been drawing for a couple of years now for them. What have you worked on anything that you favor? Like, do you have a card that you drew that kind of special to you? The fans out there will have their favorites. Obviously, you've in Theros, you had Theros block. You've drawn some pretty iconic characters.
Yeah, Theros has been a really good block for me. I still have a super sweet spot for Tybalt. Just 'cause, there's only so many planeswalkers. How many planeswalkers are there? There's 18 at this point or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible because I should know this.
But I should know it too.
It's a super small number of planeswalkers, and I designed one of them. That's I can't help but feel good about that. People are like, "Oh, how did you feel at Tybalt's so bad?" I'm like, dude, I got to design a planeswalker. That's the art is where I come in. Okay, he's a 2-drop. I get it. That's a bad idea, but that's not my fault.
Yeah, you don't design the card mechanic. I mean, Tybalt.
No, actually, that's the question I get constantly at GPs and stuff. People want to know that, and the answer is no. I don't even know what the cards do until everybody else finds out. So.
Oh, okay. So, oh, by the way, I should tell people if they want to check out. You have a really good. You put everything that you draw and everything all together really well on your website, vandalhigh.com. VANDALHIH, HIGH, and I wanted to get that in there so people can kind of look around a little bit of what you've done, and so tell me a little bit about the Animar character. How it's such an interesting drawing. What kind of direction do you get, and how do you kind of when you were drawing, let's say, that thing, how much do you guidance do you get in how the final thing will look? Do you have to go into the lore a little bit and try to understand what this thing's about, or how does that work?
Well, Animar is another one of those special ones for me because it was actually my first card, and it's had this crazy staying power because people love playing as a commander. But for the creative brief, I actually should remember this. I don't. The creative briefs are usually pretty short, and something about it being a giant elemental, I knew it was going to be blue, red, green, but they really weren't very specific, which I love. I love getting briefs where I'm getting the flavor but not a specific instruction on what I need to draw. And Animar was just a perfect assignment for me because I like drawing humanoid creatures. So I felt okay, they're going to give this to me. I should do sort of what I do with this, which I was going to go 30% human, 70% a bunch of other stuff, and just sort of make a vaguely humanoid-ish thing while keeping it really thematic with the whole elemental side of it. So I was just trying to do my absolute best because I was so excited to get hired on Magic, and I wanted them to hire me back. I didn't want to have this be a one and done thing because my career is peppered with cases where I got hired on something. I was really excited. I screwed it up, and then I never got hired by them again. And I got those out of the way prior to starting on Magic, and I was just like, oh, come on, let this one come together. I put a lot of time into that, and I did a lot of thumbnails, and it was, but like right at the beginning, I knew what the design of the guy looked like. All the thumbnails looked the same. I knew I wanted something that was kind of mysterious, so I wanted to create something that was like a hood, but I wanted the hood to be made out of like a mixture of like moss and fleshiness and like something that, it evoked some sort of thought or some sort of imagination on what would make a creature like this.
Sure, that's it. Yeah, I think that art's really good, and if you like that art, it's available on your Kickstarter, which we'll talk about later.
It's not. You see, that's
it's not.
See, that's it. I can't make playmats of any of my Magic art. Ultra Pro owns all the rights to the playmats, so I actually made with knowing that there's a lot of Animar fans out there, I made a piece that I think that they might like. That's a different giant elemental. It's formatted. It's I've gotten better over the past 4 years. I think I like it better than the original Animar art.
And Heart of the World, right?
It's called Heart of the World.
Yeah.
It's exclusive to the Kickstarter. You're not going to be able to buy it after the Kickstarter. So people seem to be gravitating towards that one. That's the most popular design, and I'm really excited to have that and to not get a cease and desist from Wizards.
Yeah, it's really cool. When I was looking at, I'm trying to decide between playmats or a print, and that one really just, I might as well just do the everything pack and just get it all.
You could. The packs are priced so that the more stuff you get, the cheaper everything gets. Really trying to incentivize people to like pick up all the stuff that they want because it's not available all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of times people buy this stuff from me at conventions or at GPs, but that's not always an option. I'm only going to so many events per year, so this is the Kickstarter is an opportunity for me to connect with a wider fan base because there's millions of Magic fans all over the world. Some small percentage of them are fans of me. I'm gonna try to find them and let them know this thing's happening over the course of 30 days.
Yeah, it's going really well. You've already reached your goal, and you've got 20 days left. So we'll talk a little bit more about that too. But so I don't know how much of this you can actually go into, but we were talking kind of earlier a little bit about how far out ahead, and you mentioned something that I thought people might think is really interesting. So you're designing out. So the artists are designing out significantly far in the future, and you don't have really any mechanics to go off. So you just get like the style guide, and it says, for example, when you got the Nissa art, how do they communicate that to you? Like, how do you take what's written in words and then translate it to this elf lady?
Well, the brief was so small for Nissa. It's just like the same size as everything else. It's like, oh, she should be more wild or something. It's like you should draw Nissa, but like different. And I'm like, those assignments. This one freaked me out because I knew, okay, you've got a sexy planeswalker lady.
Yeah, it's
something that Magic fans really like. So I'm like, don't screw this up. Like my big mandate to myself was don't screw it up. So I think I went kind of conservative with it overall as far as like keeping the design pretty similar and trying to just sort of hit the major salient points. I probably could have gone more different with her and played around with the costume a little bit more, but I didn't have the gumption to do it.
I think it turned out great. I like the how do you say, like not the aspect, but the way she's like standing on the kind of like the tree is almost like she's like walking on it, kind of facing out. I don't know.
Zendikar is full of those gravitational anomalies. I figure she's got to look confident in her environment, so I wanted to show her rather than having her perched out on a pointy rock like every third planeswalker is, I was like, okay, well, she should be perched out on something, put her on a tree, and see if I can come up with some gag that makes this a little bit unique. That was really what I was hanging my hat on. But it's funny because on the card, of course, the whole gag's that she's standing on a tree, but like without her weight underneath her. But on the card, you can only see the upper part, so like,
okay.
Yeah, you can only see it in the full art.
Okay, yeah. So there's another reason to buy the print.
Yeah.
Do you have any GPs coming up that you're going to be attending at where people can see you?
I don't have any GPs firmly booked. I'm really trying to convince Star City Games to get me out for GP Jersey, but
they have a really sexy playmat.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's the original Brainstorm art. There's going to be a lot of people there, probably just for that playmat.
I heard GP Jersey is going to be a banger, so I wanted to get in there, but I emailed them as soon as I found out that there was going to be like a big one, and it fit my schedule really nice. And they're like, "Oh, we're not planning yet." Or I don't know if they're trying to wave me off nicely, or if they're actually like not planning yet. But I'm going to keep bugging them about it. But the big things that people can find me at, I'm going to be at Gen Con for the first time since I started Magic.
Okay.
I've done it like 3 years before, but it was like 3 years ago. I missed it because of every year there's always something. Like the first year I skipped it, my wife just had a baby, so.
Fine.
There's going to be a Gen Con apparently has gotten humongous since I left, and it was already big and it was already awesome, and now it's like even bigger, and I'm kind of like freaking out. My assistant's going to be with me. I'm going to make a really big show at it, and so there should be a lot of Magic fans there. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Yeah. And the other one is Dragon Con. Dragon Con is big and crazy, and I don't know if it's got quite as much of a Magic presence, but it's just got so many damn people there that I figure that it's probably a few. I'll be hiding out at the art show, far away from all of the Magic Track stuff, but if people want to wander over there, they'll find me.
So one thing I wanted to ask is so there's a lot of artists in the MTG community, and then I think the transition to, I don't know if I'm calling it commercial art, if that's like the right way, but getting paid to draw, there's a big difference in just drawing, and so a lot of people ask kind of like what they're interested in what your setup looks like. So like John Avon, for example, he does his all digitally. How do you do your drawing, and what does that look like?
Well, I usually start. I've got like some really weak sketches. I usually do a thumbnail and blow it up. This is the sketch from my one of my other playmat design for the Kickstarter, and I usually start with a thumbnail and blow it up and try to trace over it and get it nice. And then when I scan that in and I try to paint up on top of it, I try to get as much of the drawing and stuff worked out as possible as early in the process as I can, because the more questions I nail down, the more firm I get the concept, the faster the painting part goes. Because if I'm making edits way late in the game, it gets hairy. Even with digital tools where you can chop and screw the painting on a whim, if you don't know where you're headed with it, it turns into a nightmare.
I imagine, yeah.
Just self-doubt, just chopping your own painting apart, tearing your hair out, looking at things, just desperately hoping to fix it. And so I try to do as much of the drawing as I can ahead of time in order to avoid that problem.
Yeah, I imagine it's a little bit like you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube so easily. Once you screw with your flow, then and I'm no artist. I do have a lot of respect for that skill, and in my opinion, gift. But I imagine it's a lot about flow and kind of just being in the moment. And then if you go step out of that, it almost will stick out to somebody as like, oh, that doesn't fit with the rest of the design.
Well, the way I've started to think about it is like my process is really about trying to boil down each of the different fundamental parts of the painting into separate steps. So the thumbnail is determining the content and the composition of the piece. The sketch is determining anatomy, layout, proportions. And then I would do a value sketch that's just thinking about lighting and volume. And when I break, you're only focusing on one element of a painting at a time. you're able to focus on doing that part of the image to the absolute best of your perception and ability. So by being kind of scientific and meticulous about it, I'm able to make better choices for each part of the painting, and without having to like keep the whole thing in my mind all at once. You know, the big perception that people have if they don't do art is it looks magical because you think there's thousands of factors that go into making. Why do you make a particular color brushstroke in a particular spot, and why does that look right? But it's actually not 1,000 things. If you do it right, you're only thinking about one or two things at a time. And by layering those choices on top of each other and using a process, it's possible to sort of science your way through it without too much guesswork.
Fair. That's a good, interesting answer. So let's talk a little bit about the Kickstarter project. I came across this. I think somebody tweeted it, and I checked it out. And like a lot of people, I do appreciate the art of Magic cards, but I don't often look at the byline. And so then I immediately started. I went to a gatherer, and I was like, okay, well, let's see what this guy's drawn. And see, like we talked about earlier, definitely some very familiar cards to me. And what's cool is a lot of the cards that you've drawn recently are totally playable cards. I don't know if that matters to you guys, but that's the way I think about it.
It helps. It really helps.
So yeah, I mean, from a reputation standpoint, right? More people will become familiar with your brand. When you design Burmez, a card that will be around forever, or Soul of the Animar, people will. Those eternal cards are really cool. And so then I looked at what are some of the types of things I can get from your Kickstarter, and I was like, damn, a lot of this stuff's really nice. And you said this is your second year, so is this the Kickstarter way for you to just kind of get one big order every year, and everyone can kind of fulfill it? And what are you trying to do with? I probably asked two questions there. What is your goal with the Kickstarter this year?
Okay.
We'll start with that.
So, the Kickstarter, the big thing is like, I go to a show, I go to a GP, I go to a convention, I'm meeting people in person. It's a personal transaction. They want to buy something there because it's kind of time limited. I'm only there for a period of time. It kind of commemorates the moment. And like, you can make a connection with someone as an artist. You can make a connection with someone at a show and make sales, and that they enjoy the prints, and you enjoy meeting them, and you get to make some money and support the whole, having a family and being a professional artist thing.
Yeah.
But then you put up a store online. People say, "Oh, is this available online?" You put up an online store, and you get like one sale a month, and it's like it doesn't work. That personal connection needs to be there. It needs to be limited. It needs to be an event, a lot like a convention is. And I saw a friend of mine had done a Kickstarter for a painting he had already finished. He was kickstarting just the limited print set. And I saw this, and it was just, he had gotten 30 backers, and he had made $1,300. I saw it, and I like leaped out of my chair. I was at work, and I was like, oh my God, this is a revolution. Yeah. This is incredible. Are you guys seeing this? And I'm pulling people over my desk. You guys, you have to see this. This is amazing. Do you see this? This guy, he does a painting for himself without having a built-in audience, without a product that it's associated with. He got 30 people through the internet to buy the stuff, and he got $1,300 to do his own painting. I'm like, Are you guys not seeing how incredibly exciting this is? And they're like, oh, 30 people. And I'm like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. This is, if this is what it looks like when it's this big, then imagine it as it grows. Imagine as people become more comfortable with this model. Imagine as the whole thing expands. It's like this direct, connection with the audience instead of having to go through a big, launch a commercial product. It's like you get to connect directly with people in this way. And I was super excited about it for a while. I planned for a while. I had my Kickstarter like almost ready to go, and then when I left my job back in November, I launched my first Kickstarter, and yeah, the goal was really to just have that direct connection, and because the Kickstarter model allows that to happen in ways that other online events just can't touch. So yeah, I've been my whole business model has been to try to build that kind of circumstance so that I can launch these on a regular basis. I've been building a whole business around, like, I'm tweeting pictures of like my mailing tubes and stuff. Hired an assistant. Like, it's been, the goal is really to go straight to fans, go straight to people who like this stuff, instead of trying to go through gatekeepers and people who I would have to get approval from or sell rights to. Just make art that people like and connect with them and be able to have a sustainable income directly off of that.
That's a very savvy business decision, and it's good. Obviously, it's good, but to the ability to recognize that as what you're telling me, it just seems like super smart, right? You get to create that exclusivity and that time sensitive thing that you would see at a GP. Without having to fight for a chance for their time because maybe they're competing in an event. They can interact with you through the comments of the Kickstarter, and it definitely feels more personal than just buying it off, art.com or something like that. The money's going directly to the artist, which for me is important. I know a lot of other, a lot of people it is too. Especially, anyone that buys art, I don't think that type of person lends themselves to being like a sterile consumer bot. They want that connection, and you get a little bit of it here too. So that's really smart. I just think the amount of options you have here with, no Tybalt this time, but these are all your most recent drawings. Do you have like a favorite of these, or what are people gravitating towards on your Kickstarter more? I like the playmat pack. What if by the way, what if somebody bought like a 10-pack of playmats? Do you care if they resell them, or does any of that matter to you?
They're allowed to.
Okay.
The 10-pack was for I think I'm trying to connect with retailers more because I've had some really great experiences getting to know local retailers wherever I've lived, and I know that they really enjoy being able to like get personalized stuff from artists and be able to share that with the small communities, the stores, and I want to be able to facilitate that, and I'm working on some stuff for that. I don't know if there's any retailers watching, but you should probably email me if you want to know more. But like, that was kind of a stab at like, there's some people that want to buy bulk orders because they've got a bunch of friends that want to order together. I'm going to give them a discount. There's some guys in Germany that last time ordered a big bulk pack, and when they're doing it again this time, they'll want to split it all up because they want to save on shipping.
Yeah.
But I really just wanted to give every type of purchase that people wanted to make, I wanted to try to facilitate it, because I've only got like, 9 images in the whole Kickstarter. I've got 9 paintings, but I've got like 22 bundles.
Yeah.
And then people are still making special orders. I'm still like facilitating special orders and add-ons and stuff. The one that's really been surprising for me is the Nissa Mohrbacher pack, where I've got a canvas print of Nissa as well as a signed artist proof with a sketch on the back, and then also a pencil sketch, like a clean pencil sketch that I'm doing for him. And I was like, maybe these bundles are like a way that if someone really likes a piece of art or really likes a card, they can double or triple down on it. And so I made a Nissa, a Brimaz, and an Animar one, because I figured those would be the really popular ones. I was kind of on the fence about doing an Erebos one, too, because I like Erebos a lot.
Yeah.
But, and the Nissa ones are all sold out. They went fast. And, like, I had no idea. Now I know, like, people want these sketches. And I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to do more stuff like this going forwards, because people have been digging that. And I didn't know that they were going to dig it that much.
That's really cool that you've kind of created a spot too where you can really handle your own distribution, and you won't have to rely on Ultra Pro picking it up or whatever, where you can get pennies on the dollar. You're able to actually support yourself a little bit better by doing it this way. And you have almost 250 backers already, so I don't know where you ended last time, but it's been pretty solid.
Last time I had 167 backers.
Okay.
I think about 158 of those actually ordered something. Some people were just giving $1 or $10 or whatever, and that was great. But so it was about 150 people. This one is going to be potentially 3 times the size, maybe even more. My original estimate was about $36,000 and about 500 people. I may overshoot that. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Like, I just did a cross promo with John Avon's Kickstarter yesterday, and I had my second biggest day since launch, thanks to that. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to come together. I saw John Avon launch his Kickstarter just as I was preparing to launch mine, and I went like, okay, here's a test.
Yeah.
This is either going to be a great thing or a horrible thing, and I'm going to do my best to try to make sure that it's a great thing that we're doing this at the same time.
Yeah.
And from now on, I'm actually going to try to coordinate with other Magic artists to see it. Or anytime I run a Kickstarter, I want to make sure I want to talk to friends of mine and see if they want to run something at the same time, because the cross promotion has been so good, and the John Avon camp has told me that it's been nice for them too. I really love the idea of artists banding together to cross pollinate and help each other, and I'm like hungry to do more of it now that it's been working out so well.
Yeah, I know John's doing real good on his Kickstarter, and I'm excited to get. I actually backed at the playmat level, so hopefully I can get a MTG headquarters like little themed playmat for him or from him next year. But these are both really, really good, and I'm hopefully the MTG headquarters community and friends of it can help. If they like what you're offering, they can check it out. I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the description below. If you don't already know, if you forgot, Peter's done some pretty good stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of looking through it again, and I'm thinking, man, Mogus would just look pretty badass on my wall. There's just some of these that are just, they exceed. They're more than just a Magic art, and I feel like that's probably an okay compliment. They just look good in general. You don't have to be a Magic fan. You just have to like sweet art.
And this isn't the only thing I do. Because now I'm working for myself, and this is like doing things like Kickstarters is sort of my full-time job. Anybody who backs this, they're going to probably see an update in the future for some other events that are going to be non-Magic related. You're going to get to see all sorts of fun art coming up from me later this year. I've got 2 more Kickstarters planned before the end of the year.
Okay.
And they're going to be probably smaller scale, just because it's not going to have that Magic pedigree behind it, but it's going to be projects that I'm interested in and I care about and I want to share with people. So if you just dig it as art, there's like more art coming.
Yeah, and they can follow you on Twitter too. I assume you'll be promoting any future Kickstarters. I think we're up to 5 or 6 mentions of Kickstarter, so that's like 5 drinks for those of you playing at home.
You gotta take it easy on them.
And do you want to give us your Twitter handle?
My Twitter handle is Bugmeyer, Bugmeyer.
Okay. I knew it was something. I remember Bug, but I didn't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, it's just like an online thing that I've been using for a long time, and I just use it everywhere. It's my email, it's my everything. And I don't know, I'm slowly, as I'm making new accounts now, I'm just using my real name on it because, branding and whatever. But, you don't get to change these things all the time. I'm like, I've already kind of got momentum with this account, I'm not going to switch it up. So I got this dumb Twitter name I'm stuck with forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, most people start that kind of thing, and they don't think about, when they have 2, 3, 4,000 followers, what their Twitter handle even is, or
Yeah.
So thanks. I know it's a holiday and it's early, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and I hope that I know that from feedback from the Geneva one, people really like these, and hopefully some of them will shoot on over to your Kickstarter and pick up some sweet art.
Yeah, keep an eye out. I've got some more stuff coming. The next big thing that's going to drop, and we've been teasing this, is that Noah Bradley is doing a playmat exclusively for my Kickstarter that you can get as part of a bundle. So I know there's a lot of Noah Bradley fans out there. Famous artist Noah Bradley will be joining the Kickstarter as soon as he finishes this piece of art.
Well,
so.
tell him to get going, because that's got to get up there before this video drops.
Yeah, well, you'll have to just if you can back it at $1 level, and you'll see updates and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good
one. If you want to back it at $1, you'll be able to see updates as they happen. And trust me, I will try to get the word out as soon as famous artist Noah Bradley joins the crew. I've already got a couple of guest artists, Sean Andrew Murray, who did a very successful Kickstarter last year for a Book of Wizards, and Darek Zabrotsky, who is a pretty notable artist and art broadcaster,
okay.
who they both got guest playmats that you can get special bundles for.
Ooh, that's going to be pretty saucy. So I like where this is going. I think the combination of art and business is probably fairly rare, and I think if you stay on this path, you're going to be doing good for all artists, not just yourself, but it'll lead to a revolution in the way that artists sell their product, and that's nothing but good.
I think the more people make good Kickstarters, the better it is for everyone. So I really want to see more Magic artists out there in this space, bringing people in, showing them how this works, making them comfortable with it, and then cross-promoting with each other. I think that is going to be a rising tide that's really going to be great for the art community.
Well, yeah, that's I think that's probably a pretty good way to go out. And so thank you so much for all your time today. And don't blow any of those fingers off with fireworks. And just keep me posted as you have new projects going. I'm happy to exchange some good art questions and give you a platform to talk to people. Maybe next time we talk, we'll be closer to 75 or 100,000 subscribers. So I'm working hard on my end to bring the community together, and getting integrated with the artist communities, I think, is a good thing too. So I appreciate your time, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Okay, so I'll cut it there. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, check out some of our most popular playlists, from MTG vlogs, sick gameplay videos, new product breaks, and some insane vintage openings. I upload 3 to 4 new Magic the Gathering videos every week, so if you haven't already, please take a moment to crush that subscribe button to join one of the fastest growing Magic the Gathering channels on YouTube. Talk to you later.